Hi, everybody. It's CC and JT from the Nevada Author Network, which is a joint venture between the Sierra Arts Foundation and Two More Books LLC to raise the visibility, to elevate and highlight the fantastic authors and artists that we have in northern Nevada. This is, again, a partnership between the Sierra Arts Foundation, the Sierra Arts Literary Community, and Two More Books LLC. And gosh, we've had so much good times with us. This is, people, the writers that have joined us have been saying, thank you for doing this. And thank you guys, because Cece and I, we've been having so much fun and we've been learning so many interesting things. And we have with us today Jade Griffin, somebody we've been trying to get for several weeks now, and we're so happy to finally get her. Hello, Jade. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great.
And like I said, we are just so pleased to have you because we know from meeting you, you are such a joy, and you're such powerful energy, positive, powerful energy, and just going through your website as we prepared for this has been a joy too. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that we saw on that website and some of the things we've seen from your work. And we've done book writing events together, and it's just really a lot of fun. So I've talked too much. Take it away, Jay. Tell us about yourself, about your work. Tell us about things that you think that your readers would want to know.
As you said, my name is Jade Griffin. It's my pen name. I've been Jade Griffin online for a lot longer than I have been a published author, so I moved that as my pen name to maintain that platform and build from there. Not that my work isn't already kind of cool and interesting, but I liked the pen name better than my actual name on print. I write and publish currently a combination of horror adventure novels, and I also write Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing games for the tabletop role-playing games system owned by Chaosium.
And the reason I found such joy in your website is because I don't want to call you a Renaissance man, because that may be kind of a phrase that's out of it. Calling you a polyglot is just an ugly word, it's like polyglot. But you really are multifaceted. Now, for Cece and me, we're just happy to get a book out the door. We're just happy to go through the entire book out the door. But is that enough for Jade? No. That's certainly not enough for Jade. Jade is a writer. She is an illustrator, all of these things. You are a coordinator. The list just goes on and on and on. So 2 questions. First, the easy one. Where do you find the energy?
Lack of sleep?
Like our good friend coffee and caffeine.
Yes.
Caffeine is good.
Caffeine is good. But what inspires you to work across the wide range of visual and literary art?
I'm one of those people that have the annoying habit of it's easier to do it yourself than to find someone else to do it for free or to pay them to do it.
No, that's good.
Totally
And yet I still
understandable.
find typos in my work. To add to your list, I also do my own layouts, my own covers, and yes, my own edits. So,
But what is because here's where I'm coming from on this. Because if we're talking, if we're talking literal parts of the brain, writing prose would be in one part, illustrating would be another part. But you seem to have successfully combined those parts, and so I find this fascinating. I think your readers would find this fascinating too. Can you describe this amalgamation of talent that you have?
yeah, I describe it as creative firestorm. That's my own personal branding description of myself. I am insanely creative, but I have this incredibly organized mind. My actual paying job, because I wish I could do this for a living, but I can't, I am a paper pusher. I do paperwork, and I love the organization of paper and filing and putting things in spreadsheets. So my kids say that I have an interesting type of ADHD or neurodivergency, where it's that perfect storm of high energy, high creativity, high functionality, high order, and get stuff done.
That's funny because our kids call it spicy brain.
Yep. Neurospicy of
Neurospicy.
the high category of completionist. So
Yes.
that's what I do.
Well, unlike JT, I can actually understand a little bit where you're coming from, because a lot of the time when I'm writing, I can see some of the things that I'm writing, and I'll start trying to sketch them out a little bit. JT isn't really into the graphic part of the community quite as much. Doesn't think he can draw, but I disagree with that.
I hate
But
drawing people. I don't like
oh,
drawing
people are hard.
Yeah.
I can do faces sometimes, but get hands and legs and things like that, or animals. Trying to draw a horse is
I
very
can draw
difficult.
anything that I can see except people, they move too much. And the
True.
picture turns out,
So I have a question for you from a visual perspective, because when I draw or sketch something, usually I'll have an image fleshed out in my mind, and basically there have been a couple occasions where what I saw in my mind I actually translated onto paper, and it was exactly what I had seen. It was almost like it flowed right out of my hand. Is that how you work, or are you like some other visual artists where it's more of a, you do a little piece here and a little piece there, and kind of it comes together in the end?
my drawing process is a little weird. I don't really have the same sketching background that most people do, where they start with the shapes and they build from there. I just start drawing it. I do have a sketch sometimes, but when I'm drawing like a face or an animal, I will just start drawing it. It's kind of a strange method that I would not recommend for most people. If you're starting drawing, I would recommend sketches. But that's another part of me that's not like the ordinary, I guess you could say, because I don't have formal artistic training. I took art classes in high school, and that was about it.
I'm in the
And
same place.
yeah, so my artistic process is a little bit different, especially because I do quite a bit of work on Adobe Photoshop right now. I am very anti-AI, but what I do is I take either an actual newspaper clipping, for example, and I completely model it in Photoshop by, I look at the texture of the paper and I do a version of that using filter tools. This isn't, having it lay over the paper. This is literally, I have this blank sheet and I look at it and I color it one color that's similar, and then I texture it, and then I try and choose a font that's similar, and then I tweak it and try and age it. And that's one way I come up with the handouts that I use for my games, because I don't just write and publish, I will also run and play the games that I write.
That's amazing. That's a lot of work because I've done a little bit of graphic design on the computer is a completely different experience even than sketching things out by hand.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That takes a lot of time and patience, I know.
I'm running a game tomorrow. I ran one last night too. It's kind of addictive. It's instant gratification for writers to share their story at the table and get to see the variety of reactions that people have with their characters having an active role and playing in the setting. There's nothing quite like it.
That must be amazing because like you said, it's not, we don't get instant gratification. I just released a book the other day and I'm already waiting to see what people might have to think about it. But, it's going to take them a few days to read it, maybe, if they have the time. And so that instant gratification must be quite the rush.
Yeah, it's a very interesting, I don't want to call it an addiction for writers, but it's something very unusual. One of my model authors, her son described writing as both the most public and lonely job in the world, because you have to spend alone time doing what you do, but your goal is to share it.
We say that all the time in our podcast that writing, and in your case, artistic endeavors are something that's done privately, but in a public stage. And so it's like it's that strange little balance here. I do want to switch over to prose real quick, and I want to talk about your books. And I got to tell you, when I read this title in my brain, it's like, man, I wish I had thought of this, but.
Which one?
The Journals of Lacey Anderson Moore, Monster Hunter of the 1800s. That sings. Boy, that just sings. That's just there. Tell us a little bit about Lacey. Tell us why we should pick up this book, and we already do. But tell us why we do anyway.
Lacey Moore is a no-nonsense badass. I describe her trilogy, because it's her start and her end, as high adventure, low gore, zero romance. That sums up what you find in this particular book. But her personality, she's very no nonsense. She's very good at hunting monsters, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't make some mistakes. Not the best people. Doesn't put up with nonsense from other people. Has killed
And
some people?
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Anybody that she would feel is evil or helping the side of evil and monsters might end up on the wrong end of her.
So I'm going to take a risk here. Is Lacey you? Is Lacey your daughter? Is an inspiration from is she a fiction inspiration from fiction? Because as writers, we're curious where other writers get their inspiration.
All characters tend to be a conglomerate of little pieces of me, little pieces of people that I know. But that's what children are also. They are a conglomerate of their parents, as well as factors that influence them, both internal, nurturing, and external, nature. Sorry, I reversed them. Nature and nurture.
Okay.
So that's how I describe my characters too. Lacey is more rebellious, more outgoing. She finds out how to get what she wants. Some of my other characters are very much not like that. She doesn't remind me of any one particular person, but to me, she looks a lot like my sister. She acts a lot like my dad mixed with other badass characters I've seen in Hollywood and on TV. So that's where I would think that she comes from. I did
And
dedicate 2 of my books to him, I believe.
and I mentioned your daughter as a transition because I was I think the word is enchanted. We were enchanted by her webpage, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that word.
Which one?
See, there I go anyway.
Dearpy?
Derpy, yeah, Derpy
Dearpy?
Reader.
Derp,
Yeah.
go do a plug for Dearpy Designs.
So for Derpy Designs, my daughter makes and commissions fursuits. So that would be heads, tails, sometimes paws, although she's not a fan of making paws. She will make them. She just finished a commission and delivered it locally. She can drive now, so she drove out there herself in the electric car and needed help because it took too much battery to get out there, and I needed to go out there in the gas car and help her out there. Is very creative, and she has these spurts of intense design and creativity, and it is amazing watching her work and do her process. When she first started, I think she was 9, maybe 8.5. She came to me and says, "Mom, how do you do this?" And I told her, "My darling, it's going to be better if you learn how to do this yourself. One, I'd have to learn alongside you, and then we'd both be sharing our skill and expertise into it. I want you to go ahead and learn how to do this yourself." And she did. And she makes it her own. And if she wants to do something like put lights in it or make it glow, make an interesting pattern, she figures out how to do that.
Wow.
Yes,
That's impressive.
highly recommend.
So does she do these based on any particular characters? Because I know a lot of people, for example, Comic-Con is going on, and a lot of people will do costumes based on someone else's intellectual property. Or does she do this based on just ideas that she comes up with?
Her generation is very focused and in her particular niche, staying in your, I don't want to say staying in your creative lane, but you do not use someone else's character without permission. You don't do it.
Right.
You can make an original character based off of a game or a book or some other franchise, but you don't say, "I want to dress as Kylo Ren." They don't do that in their fandoms. It's a very unique thing that I hadn't encountered before.
That is kind of interesting. You mentioned that you're a fan of Lovecraft and Cthulhu and things like that, and some of the role playing, I guess, is based on Cthulhu.
I'm a fan
So
of the game.
the
I've read
game.
Lovecraft. It's interesting. That was a man who was scared of many, many things. But he brought something very interesting to the table that the company that owns the rights to the role-playing game system, the name of that company is called Chaosium. It's been around since the 70s or 80s. They just celebrated their 50th anniversary, so 75. That would also
Wow.
be my beginning anniversary too. So that would be kind of cool. I didn't get to go to their convention. I really wanted to this year. However, took something that Lovecraft was commonly doing. He would start like a round robin of ideas, and he would come up with something, and he would put some of his fellows in there as characters that would eventually die. And then they would take that and they would borrow his worlds. So what Chaosium does is they allow people that are not employees of Chaosium to write and publish what they call community content. And you can, make your own funds and revenue based off of this. You just have to put in the credits that you're using the Open Gaming License, OGL, and that you reference back to Chaosium and say that Chaosium owns the rights to the Call of Cthulhu system, and this is your own original work other than that.
Well, that's fascinating because at one point I tried to write something based on a television show, and I was trying to get published through a traditional publisher that had the rights to that show. So it sounds like it's a little bit similar to that, but not quite, because in my case, obviously, it was they would have published it and everything, but you're basically doing this yourself and you're just crediting them.
Yeah, they allow people to do this. They say, hey, here is our open system. Feel free to use it. If you are publishing Call of Cthulhu stuff with the Call of Cthulhu stamp on it, that is Miskatonic repository. If you're doing Glorantha, it has to have, I think it's called Jonestown. They have one that's all based in like Arthurian legends. They own a few different properties like that, and anyone can write and publish their own content with their own characters, their own monsters, their own everything, and they can reference back to that. Could I make it my own stuff completely? Sure. I would take out and redo my own rules system. That would take a little while to do, but it's not
Right.
impossible. What you were describing sounds like fan fiction. I also have
Yes.
written many fan fictions, and I am endeavoring to actually change some to completely original content, and we'll be publishing those too. It's going to be interesting.
Ooh, because that's what I was about to ask you. So what is it? So that's what I was about to ask you is what is the future for Jade Griffin? So you're planning out some new books? Are you continuing series? So what's next?
Always.
Always.
There's always stuff up here. I was writing one yesterday too. It's something that I had put off starting for 2 weeks. An idea hit me. I was laying in bed and I was breathing calmly, and I'm like, I wonder what it would feel like to stop breathing. So yeah, it started
Boy.
the realization of what happened to one of my characters, and I'll be writing his death soon. It's an interesting death. It's a good one.
So that brings up an interesting question, though. If you're writing the death from the perspective of the character, how are you going to manage that? Are they going to continue on as a spirit or something, or is this going to be the end of their story?
I like that you brought that up. Remind me what your question is in a second, JT,
Okay.
okay? The reason why this is an interesting question, twofold. Depends on if you are writing in first person or third person. Third person is easy. It's
Right.
omniscient. First person is how I tackled the last Lacey Moore book, which is titled The Death of Lacey Moore, Monster Hunter of the 1900s. People ask me, is the title accurate? Does she die in the book? And I'm like, yes. How do you write the end when your character dies? You're gonna have to read and find out. I do
Right.
it. And it was a very interesting challenge for me because that book, that ending scene, takes place in the game that I also wrote and published. How do you make something static like a novel that has the exact same scene in it that is fluid like a game and still have them work together? Well, I did make it work.
Wow.
I don't want any spoilers, otherwise I'd be happy to tell you. I'm not a secret keeper, except for one character's name. I never ever say that character's name. JT, what was your question?
What's your future? What's your future books?
Writing, I have a lot of projects. One of them I mentioned, if you have your own system, you can publish it anywhere you want, whatever you want. I am eventually going to put out a game system, all my own, that is based loosely off of basic role playing, which is what the base core system of Call of Cthulhu is based off of. It was started by Chaosium in the 70s and 80s. It's a really interesting system. But the background, the story, the entire world, all of the characters is completely mine. It's fairy tale characters with superpowers. I actually have a webcomic. I haven't done anything on the webcomic in a while, but that starts your background for this game. And it's very well established in the writing sense. The other project I'm tackling, along with more novels, more Call of Cthulhu games, I am going to write and publish the Jade Griffin journals. So get to know where the name comes from.
That's cool.
So, Jade, tell us where we can find you on the World Wide Web. Where can we find your website and where can we find your preferred social media?
My preferred social media right now is still Facebook. I am on Blue Sky. I'm usually on there as Jade Griffin Author, and my website is jadegriffinauthor.com.
Excellent. Excellent. Cece, I don't know. Did you have another question or did I cut you off there?
No, I was just about to ask about those things. And also, I did notice that at least one of your books, I think your Lacey Moore books, are available on Amazon.
Yep, all
Is
three.
that correct?
I have a fourth novel out also, Mr. Smith Who Works the Front Desk.
Yes, I just
Excellent.
saw that one too.
Yeah.
All four of these books are characters that you encounter in the role-playing games, but there's no need to read the books to play the game or play the game to read the books. They can be taken individually. They just enhance each other no matter which one you pick. Hopefully you'd like to try both.
Excellent.
I'm sure that will be a much fuller experience.
Thank you for coming on board. This has been really as much fun as we thought it was going to be. To hear about
Yes.
your processes, to hear about how you develop and publish, and also it was just a joy to hear about your daughter's success too. So that's all very good. So thank you again, Jade.
Thank you
And
for
this
being
has
with
been the
us.
Nevada Author Network with CC and JT and Jade Griffin. We are all members of the Nevada Author Network, which is a joint collaboration between the Sierra Arts Foundation and Two More Books LLC. Check us out. You can go to our website at twomoorebooks.com, or you can, if you want to learn more about Cece and me, you go to our main website at carsonhume.com. For now, thank you, and bye, everybody.
Bye.